welcome back to the channel. So I was watching a UFC main event yesterday, and I totally forgot about the Keith Thurman versus Pacquiao pay-per-view that went on yesterday. So I watched it this morning. I want to get my thoughts on that before I talk about the UFC. So, so I'm gonna start off like this. So when I was a kid, I used to watch boxing all the time. My parents would have real close friends. We'll go over to their house and watch the De La Hoya fights, the Tito Trinidads, the Hopkins, the Roy Jones Juniors, all those good fighters. And we would always Mayweather. So we always mainly against the Mayweather fights. Always bet against Mayweather. So that's how I started watching boxing. So before UFC, I was a boxing fan, and Pacquiao was one of my favorites growing up as a kid. Just liked him. He was just didn't know who he was. He little jackrabbit, just sit right there, just run out. And for a guy who was 40 years old, man, he looked real good. Looked real good, man. There's some fighters that even at the age of 40, man, just still got it, man. Pacquiao's one of them. Man, that was a good fight. But I should have covered that because the UFC, and I love UFC more than I do boxing. What turns me off with boxing is the judges. Like, there was one judge last night that gave Keith Thurman 115 or 112. I don't know what the hell he's seen. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Keith Thurman was landing some good shots, especially. So I'm gonna say what happened. So I know I marked down some of the most notable big impacts that happened in the fight. So in the first round, Keith Thurman got dropped, but there was just a nasty, just quick. And Pacquiao showing his speed early on, just bam, hit him right to the body, followed up with a right hook. Thurman didn't even see it coming because it was so fast. And dropped him instantly. I mean, it didn't hurt him because he was just laughing. Like, yeah, he was laughing the whole time, just sitting up. But he was like, holy crap, what the hell did I get myself into? So then in the fifth round, that's when Keith Thurman was landing some big shots. He was hitting Pacquiao with some nasty big shots. But then in the last 15 seconds, I think Pacquiao overshadowed it because Pacquiao was just throwing some nasty combinations, and it was, oh my God, Pacquiao, man, he looked so good. And then I'd say, like, going on to the like from the fifth to the seventh, Keith Thurman was landing the bigger shots. Yeah, he was. I mean, he was hitting Pacquiao with some nasty shots too, man. So, but Pacquiao was just eating them. A lot of them were off the glove. I'm surprised that, like, the announcers weren't calling that out. Now, there was one punch that just, like, it just hit it off his arm, and the whole crowd goes crazy. And then even the announcers are crazy. It was like, wait, that was off the arm. Why you guys are going that crazy? But anyways, then go to the 10th round where they both like were real close to each other. Pacquiao, they kind of like rubbed the heads, but then Pacquiao hit him with a nasty body punch. And you can see Thurman like, ooh, like bend over, and he like it was awkward. So then in the 11th round, Pacquiao was getting hit with some big shots too. And then in the 12th was up in the air. But personally, I had it 115, 112, just like the other judges that gave Pacquiao the win. I didn't have the other way around because that was crazy. Like, you really thought Thurman won by 3 rounds? You crazy, dude. I don't know, man. Something about these judges, man. They're horrible. But anyways, man, that was my little thing with the Pacquiao versus Thurman. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I should cover boxing more. Like, but if I do, I'm gonna only cover like the big name fighters like Lomachenko, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence, like those guys. Not all of boxing, just because I just don't like the. I mean, I used to love boxing. Boxing was in my heart, but the judges just straight ruined it for me. Just, even Pacquiao, they used to rob Pacquiao some crazy fights. Crazy. There was one fight where he was dominating the fight, and I forgot. I think Jeff Horn. When he fought Jeff Horn, I believe his name is. He was dominating him. Oh my god! And they gave Horn the fight. I believe it's Jeff Horn, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, man, on to the UFC video. Which I'll be right back, guys. So on UFC on ESPN, the first fight was Andre Arlovski versus Ben Rothwell, and I went for Rothwell, which I knew I was gonna regret. But then Andre Arlovski ended up getting the unanimous decision. Pitbull was just dominating him. He was the fastest fighter once again. Something about 40-year-olds, man. He was just showing Rothwell speed. Rothwell looked real slow. Rothwell was just right there like this, trying to hit Arlovski with his biggest shot. Which sometimes, man, that's not good. Good idea. So I mean, for a 40-year-old, Arlovski was just looking good. His speed was there. Just looked like the old Arlovski. Just getting in, just boom, boom, boom. Just hitting him crazy. I knew I should have went for the pit bull, but so Arlovski wins the first one. So on to the next fight. So with the second fight, it was Alexander the Great Hernandez versus Toronado. And let me tell you something, man. You gotta change your name, because if you want to be great, man, you gotta go for it, man. So Alexander the Great ended up winning with a unanimous decision. Also, it was a real boring fight. Both of the guys weren't really biting off of anything. There were a lot of feints, and nobody was really biting. Toronado he hit Alexander with a big shot, but it was horrible fight. But I mean, Alexander was more aggressive, and I think the judges gave him control, so judges gave him the win. So on to the next one. So with the next one was James Vick versus Dan the Hangman Hooker, and oh my god, nasty left hook, bam! He hit Vic with a nasty left hook. Just some nasty punches. He was on the floor. He just rocking him, his head snapping again on the mat. I mean, it was nasty. And so with Alexander, I went for Alexander, so I got that one right. With Vic versus Hooker, I went for Vic, so I got that one wrong. And then yeah, so he was hitting him with some nasty punches, finished the fight. The Hooker looked pretty good, man, and I should have went for Hooker. It's another one I shouldn't have went for. All the guys that I should have, so all the guys that I went for were kind of iffy, and I was gonna go with the guys who won. But I just thought of it like horribly at the last second. So, anyways, on to the next fight. So with the fourth fight was Greg Domestic Violence Hardy versus Juan Adams. So so what happens when in the first couple minutes, they're both exchanging hit each other in the first minute, and then Juan Adams shoots. So when Juan Adams shoots, he holds on to the single leg, and Greg Hardy's on top of him, and was just unloading, just keep hitting him, bam, bam, right in the side of the head, and sometimes in the back of the head, hitting him. I believe I believe the ref Dan was warning him, but he was hitting him on the back of the head. But he wasn't doing anything. He was just holding on to his leg. So then the ref stopped it and gave him a TKO victory, which I can understand. He wasn't doing anything. He was just holding on to his leg. I believe Dominic Cruz even called it out, like, dude, you cannot just stand there and just get hit. You gotta move, man. But then Juan was mad after the fight that they stopped it and throw his mouthpiece into the crowd. I mean, like, how could you get mad, dude? You weren't doing anything. You were just holding onto his legs. So then Greg Hardy gets the W, unfortunately. But but then so with Greg Hardy, man, the only reason why I don't like it because he has that domestic violence case, and he showed no sympathy for that, and so he ended up getting the W. So I was right on that one. Anyways, on to the right next. So with the co-main event was Alaskey on Olenek versus Walt Harris, and man, so what happens was they were both scrambling. I believe this was in the first round. So they both were scrambling. This Walt Harris throws a nasty knee, just boom, throws a nasty knee, and then just followed up with a nasty, just like overhand left, bam, and just knocked him out cold. It was nasty. I was like, holy crap. But that was it, man. Just knocked him out cold. Olenek was out. He was sleepy. So anyways, on to the last and final fight. So with the main event was RDA versus Leon Edwards. And it was kind of another boring fight. So the first round, they spent most of their time on the ground. And with the second fight, RDA got cut, I believe, in his left eye, by an elbow, just sliced him open, and he could see it was nasty. You could see the meat hanging out of his eyebrow. I mean, it was pretty nasty. I thought they were gonna stop it. Refs looked at it, said it was okay. They kept going. Then in the third round, he was trying to time his Edwards was trying to time his Edwards. It was all Edwards in the third round. Then in the fourth, I gave the round to Edwards. Edwards was dominating the fight. And then in the fifth, RDA tried to finish him but couldn't. It was just more just Edwards just showing what he could do. It was a pretty boring fight. I mean, RDA just couldn't do anything. He was a shorter man. He was getting dominated. I wouldn't say dominated, but Edwards showed that he was like, but he was the better man that night, and just dominated the RDA. So that's the main event, guys. So see you guys later. Have a good day, man. Also, be prepared for next week because next week is Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar. So I'm getting my predictions on that. You guys have a wonderful day. See you guys later.